There has been a lot of misinformation put out there about what's actually happening with real estate agents. Anybody thinks the industry is going to change, you're absolutely right. It will. And it's going to change for the better because for the first time, buyers are going to understand exactly what realtors are going to offer to them. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that say realtors don't do anything except open doors. And if that's the agent you're working with, yes, you need to get a new agent because there are value propositions that agents bring. There are definitive benefits to hiring a buyer's agent. But now the consumer is going to be able to evaluate the value propositions that each particular realtor brings to the table and represents them as a buyer's agent. For example, when you work with me, you don't just get somebody that opens doors. You get a team that works with you. I have mortgage professionals, I have real estate attorneys, I have home inspectors, everybody dedicated to getting our client, which would be you, to the finishing line, which is the closing table. And we do it for the best possible price, best possible terms, while protecting you and your family. There's a lot more that goes into it. That's the 30-second or 10-second elevator pitch. What this is going to promote is more sit-down opportunities with clients and a buyer's agent instead of doing the current model, which basically is bastardized by Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, all of them. When consumers go on those websites and they fill out the information spot or they're interested in a house, when Zillow calls them, they put them in touch with an agent who pays Zillow for that buyer's information. So you are always put in touch with a buyer's agent who is paying to be connected to you. That should change. And it should change very easily for Zillow and Redfin, all of them. They could say, fill out this information and we'll connect you to a buyer's agent. Clients, customers, opportunists will have the opportunity, the ability to actually sit down now and talk to a buyer's agent and find out, are you the agent that's going to offer me the value proposition that I think is worth it? Because at the end of the day, realtors, real estate agents, we're in the service industry. So we need to provide you a service, and that service needs to be valuable to you. Otherwise, you shouldn't hire a real estate agent. You can do all this stuff without a real estate agent. You don't need a real estate agent to buy or sell a house. You hire one because we bring a certain level of professional service and quality to the experience. We protect you the best that we can through our connections and through our knowledge. You don't need an attorney to go into court in most cases. You can represent yourself per se, but that's not really a good idea. You should have an attorney. You don't need a cleaning company to come clean your house every week or every 2 weeks. You do it because it's convenient. You don't want to be bothered with the details. You want someone to be there to help you out. This is the same idea. It's a service industry. So we need to start treating our clients, and I'm glad this happened, but there's so much misinformation about it. This is important because I think it's going to give agents like myself who actually bring a value proposition to the table, the opportunity for you, a client or the general public, to decide whether that value proposition is even worth it or not. But going to the settlement in itself, this is not a court decision. This is a settlement. This is two sides that wanted to fight each other saying it's probably better if we come to an agreement rather than taking this to court, either for expense reasons or for whatever reason we're not privy to. But at the end of the day, this was a settlement that is being reviewed by a judge, and the judge has to make the final determination whether or not it's enough and whether he's going to sign it. First part of the settlement, which was subject to court approval, makes clear that NAR continues to deny any wrongdoing in connection with the MLS cooperative compensation model rule that was introduced in the 1990s. NAR is basically saying, we'll help figure out a solution here, but not because we think we did anything wrong. The second part, under the terms of the agreement, NAR will pay $418 million over approximately 4 years. It also preserves the cooperative compensation model, allowing it to remain a choice for consumers when buying or selling a home. They're not saying real estate agents are dead. They're saying we're going to preserve this model, but it needs to be explained better. And people need to understand exactly what goes into cooperative compensation. I guarantee you people that are selling their house over the past 2 years have never heard the words cooperative compensation. They may have heard the idea of it, but not that exact statement and what goes into it. just the idea of what cooperative compensation is. In addition to the financial payment, NAR has agreed to put in place a new MLS rule prohibiting offers of broker compensation in the MLS. This would mean that offers of broker compensation could not be communicated through the MLS, but they could continue to be an option consumers can pursue off MLS negotiation and consultation with real estate professionals. Offers of compensation help make professional representation more accessible, decrease costs for home buyers to secure these services, increase fair housing opportunities, and increase the potential buyer pool for sellers. At the end of the day, the way we've been doing business for all these years, people are upset about. So something had to change. But don't think for 1 minute that the people that control the money are sitting back thinking, okay, this will be better for everybody. Because banks love the fact that a cooperative compensation was put in there because their mortgages get to be higher. Because if the compensation is part of the selling price, then it's figured into the mortgage. So what do you think banks are doing right now? Banks are trying to figure out a way to keep this intact. So the rules are going to change. I read an article not too long ago that Fannie and Freddie are already trying to figure out how home buyers can add the commission for their buyer's agent into their mortgage legally. Well, that just means that the lawmakers are probably going to change more rules. So we're going to get back to the same thing. But there needs to be more disclosure. The other argument, oh, you just go to an open house and you could deal with the listing agent. Well, you've heard this, that, and the other. Listing agents represent the sellers, not the buyers. And in New York, we have something called an agency disclosure. I personally think an agency disclosure is awesome. It identifies who the agent is working for in each transaction. Because if you went to an open house and you were talking to the agent that represents the seller, and you were like, I love this house. I know you're asking $525. I can pay up to $550, but I think I want to make an offer of $500. And that agent goes back to the seller and says, look, we have an offer of $500. I know that they can offer $550, so I suggest you reject this offer and counter at $550. The need for a buyer's agent is not going away. I think that this highlights the opportunity for clients the same way you would interview for an attorney, the same way you bring in multiple people to perform any service. You want to get the best price and the best value proposition for your money. This is an opportunity for you to do that. And I think the big online companies like Zillow and Realtor.com, I think that instead of requesting an appointment to see a house and then being blindly transferred to a buyer's agent, I think they can change their wording to request an opportunity to speak to a buyer's agent about pursuing a home in the market. Because right now, most of the people that call Zillow or Realtor.com, half of them think that they're speaking to the listing agent. So when we get to the house, our first substantial meeting is at the house. That's when it's sprung on them that I'm a buyer's agent and I'm representing you going forward from now on. By the way, you haven't had a choice to interview anybody else, but because I'm here, you might as well just use me. I mean, that's not fair to anybody, but that's where the industry is at. So this is a good thing because it'll give people the opportunity to actually sit down and talk 20, 15 minutes about the value proposition that an agent brings to the table and what can help them. And it's true on the flip side too. I mean, when you're selling your house, you talk to a couple of different agents. If all the agents are saying the same thing, but the only thing that changes is the commission they're offering, then you need to find a better agent. Me, for example, when I go to a listing appointment, I show you different levels of marketing. And inside each level is an increase in how much I'm compensated for. But if you want just the basic, you pay the least amount of commission. The reality of the situation is this settlement, not judgment, not ruling by a judge, not settled in court, this settlement reached between two parties and presented to a judge. Nobody knows what's coming next. We have an idea of what the terms of the settlement are, but you know big money is going to find a way to make bigger money. Everybody needs to calm the hell down, cool your jets, and watch what's going to happen over the next few months. If you need to talk to me at all, you can message me, call me, email me.